Once upon a time there was a queen who was very old and her husband passed away early. She has a very beautiful daughter. When the princess grew up, her mother promised her to marry a prince in a faraway country. Suddenly the wedding day came and the princess had to leave for a strange kingdom. The queen gave her many valuable utensils and jewelry made of gold, silver, jade, as the dowry that a princess must have, because the queen loves her child very much. The queen also sent a maid to accompany her to deliver the bride to the groom. Each person rides a horse. The horse the princess rides is called Falada. It can talk. When it was time to say goodbye, the queen took a small knife to her bedroom, used the knife to cut her finger until 3 drops of blood fell onto a piece of white cloth. Then she gave the white cloth to her children and advised, "Dear child, take care of this scarf. It will help you on the way." Mother and daughter sadly parted ways. The princess held a piece of white cloth around her chest and mounted her horse to ride to her fiancé and number 39's country. After walking for about an hour, the princess felt hot and thirsty, so she told her maid, "Get off the horse, take my golden cup to the stream to scoop up some water. I want to drink some." The maid said, "If you and number 39 re thirsty, go down and drink yourself. I and number 39 am not your servant." The princess was so thirsty that she had to get off her horse and go to the stream bank. She had to bend down to drink. She exclaimed, "Oh! Oh my God!" Then the 3 drops of blood replied, "If your mother knew about this, her heart would surely be broken." But that princess had a patient heart. She didn't and #39 say anything and got back on the horse. They had walked a few miles under the scorching hot sun when she was thirsty again. When the 2 reached the bank of a river, she called out to the maid again, "Get off your horse, use the golden cup to get me some water to drink." She said so because she had forgotten the cruel words of the maid. But the maid became even more arrogant and disrespectful, saying, "If you want to drink, go ahead and drink yourself. I and number 39 am not your servant." The princess was so thirsty that she had to dismount her horse, bend down into the flowing river, cry and exclaim, "Oh! Oh my God!" When the 3 drops of blood heard that, they immediately said, "If your mother knew about this, her heart would be broken." She bent down close to the flowing river to drink water, feeling extremely scared. A piece of white cloth soaked in 3 drops of blood slipped from her chest, fell into the water, and floated away without her knowing. But the maid saw it and was very happy about it, because she could command the princess even more. The princess lost those 3 drops of blood and became even more helpless and weak. When the princess was about to ride on the horse named Falada, the maid said, "I ride Falada, the old horse is yours." The princess had no choice but to patiently do so. After that, the maid roughly ordered her to take off her princess outfit, put on her old clothes and forced her to swear that, when she comes to the palace, she must not tell anyone about this. If she refused to swear like that, she would be killed immediately. Falada has seen and heard it all. After that, the maid rode Falada, and the real bride rode a bad horse. The 2 of them walked like that and reached the palace. Everyone was happy when they arrived. The prince ran out to meet them and helped the maid get off the horse, because he thought she was his fiancée. The maid was welcomed into the hall, while the real bride had to stand outside. The king and number 39 father stood at the window and looked out to see a beautiful, graceful and lovely girl standing in the yard. The king went out to the hall and asked the girl who was with her, standing outside in the yard. Along the way, I recruited her to go with me. Please give the maid something to do. The king also had nothing to give her. The king said, "Let her help the goose herder, that person, and number 39's name is Kurchin. Little wheel." The real bride had to go help the goose herder. Right after that, the fake bride said to the prince, "My dear, please do this for me." The prince replied, "I and number 39 am willing to do it right away. Please send a butcher to kill the horse I and number 39 am riding." It made me extremely angry along the way. In fact, she was afraid that the horse would tell everything that had happened to the princess. The loyal Falada horse was killed. That news reached the princess and number 39's ears. The princess promised the butcher a gold coin if he would do a favor. The city gate is very large, but dark. Every morning and afternoon, the princess drove the geese past. The butcher just needed to hang the horse and number 39's head at the city gate so that the princess could often see it. The butcher promised to cut off the horse and number 39's head and hang it on the city gate. One early morning, the princess and Kuchin herded the geese through the city gate. The princess said to the horse and number 39's head, "Oh, Falada, you are hanging here." The horse and number 39's head replied, "Oh, princess, you have to herd the geese." If the queen knew about this, she would be very sad. The princess quietly passed through the city gate, and the two of them herded the geese to the fields. Arriving there, the princess sat down and shook out her hair. Her hair is as bright as pure gold. Kuchin looked at his golden hair and wanted to pull out a few strands. The princess said, "Wind, blow strong, take Kuchin and hash 39's hat with it. Let me comb and braid your hair, make it neat." As soon as she finished speaking, a strong wind blew Kuchin and hash 39's hat across the field, causing Kuchin to run after him. By the time Kuchin returned, the princess had finished braiding her hair. He didn't and hash 39's get any hair. Kuchin was upset and did not bother to talk to the princess. The two silently herded the geese until it was dark, then drove them home. Early the next morning, they still drove the geese through the city gate. The princess said, "Oh, Falada, you are hanging here." Falada replied, "Oh, princess, you have to tend geese." If the queen knew about this, she would be very sad. Going out to the field, the princess sat down and combed her hair. Kurchin ran back and tried to grab Kuchin and hash 39's hair. The princess said, "Wind, blow strong, take Kuchin and hash 39's hat with it. Let me comb and braid your hair, make it neat." Suddenly the wind arose, carrying Kurchin and hash 39's hat with it, causing him to run after it. By the time Kuchin returned, the princess had finished braiding her hair. Kurchin did not get a single hair. Kurchin was upset and did not bother to talk to the princess. They herded the geese in silence until it got dark. When the two arrived home, Kurchin came and told the king, "I Don and number 39's want to go herding geese with that girl anymore." The king asked, "Why is that so?" "Because she annoys me all day." The King asked Kurchin to tell him the reason why. Kurchin said, "Every morning, when we drove the geese through the city gate with the horse and number 39's head hanging, the girl said, 'Oh, Falada, you are hanging here.' The horse and number 39's head replied, 'Oh princess, you have to herd the geese.' If the queen knew about this, she would be very sad." Then Kurchin continued to tell the story of the goose pasture and the story of how the wind blew away his hat, forcing him to run after it. The king ordered that Kurchin must go herd the geese tomorrow. And the king himself will hide behind the city gate to listen to what the girl says to the horsehead Falada. Then the king also went to the grass field and hid in a thorn bush. At this time, the king saw with his own eyes how the girl and Kurchin herded the geese. A moment later, the king saw the girl sitting with her golden hair loose. The girl said, "Wind, blow strong, take Kurchin and #39's hat with you, let me comb and braid your hair to make it neat." Suddenly the wind arose, carrying Kurchin and #39's hat with it, causing him to run for a long distance. Meanwhile, the girl sat combing and braiding her hair. The king saw everything with his own eyes. Immediately after that, the king returned to the palace. At night, when the goose girl returned, the king called her and asked why she did such things. The girl replied, "Your Majesty, I have sworn that I will never reveal that story, the story of my suffering, because if I tell you, I will lose my life." The king tried to force the girl to speak, but knew nothing more than what she had said. Finally the king said, "If you Don and number 39's want to tell me, then tell your suffering to this fireplace." Having finished speaking, the king left the room. The girl approached the fireplace, then cried and told all her feelings. "Now I sit here, left alone. I was originally a princess. The evil maid forced me to take off my princess clothes for her, and she stole my fiancé. We must do everything like a goose herder. If my mother the queen knew about this, she would be very sad." The king stood outside the fireplace wall, but listened to all the girl and number 39's complaints. The king returned to the room and told the girl to come to him. She was given princess clothes by the king. As if by miracle, the girl now looks so beautiful. The king called the prince and said that his bride was actually just a maid, a fake bride. This goose girl is the true bride. Seeing the truly beautiful and kind bride, the prince and number 39's heart was filled with joy. Close relatives and the entire royal family were invited to attend the banquet. The prince sat next to the princess at the banquet. The fake bride is now blind, so she cannot see the splendid decorations at the banquet. While everyone was eating and drinking happily, the king posed a riddle to the maid, asking what the punishment would be for someone who deceives their master. The king told him every incident. After telling the story, the king asked, "What kind of punishment should a person like that suffer?" The fake bride said, "That person deserves to be punished, stripped naked and thrown into a box with sharp nails nailed inside." 2 white horses pulled a barrel and rolled through the streets until the person died. The king said, "That and number 39's right, you condemned yourself. Just judge that way and punish. The verdict has been completed." The prince married the princess. The 2 people ruled the country in peace and happiness. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.